Just take a look at it. I think it is fantastic now. And all we've got to do now is harvest it properly, eat all that delicious food. If there's too much, share it with our friends and make the most of all the hard work that got it to this point. It doesn't matter how carefully you look for the potatoes. When you dig them, you can guarantee there'll be one or two left behind and they'll reappear next year. Last year, I had all sorts of problems with my cabbages. If it wasn't the pigeons, it was the cabbage white butterflies. But this year, we have thwarted all would-be attackers, and they're looking very healthy indeed, thank you. These onions and shallots are now ready for harvesting, and if I leave these here, they'll simply rot. They don't want to be wet. So I'm going to lift all these today, and they're a really good crop. I'm very pleased with these, all grown from sets. Now, these courgettes were planted to replace our overwintering onions, and you can see they've grown brilliantly. And there we have small baby courgettes, and this is when I like to pick and cook with them. Don't let them get big, they just get tasteless. There is a risk with carrot that carrot fly will start to manifest itself. Got one here that's called Yellowstone, slight bit of bronzing, which can indicate carrot fly problems, but the carrot itself is looking fine. And if I just double check, when you open it up, sometimes you find a carrot riddled with little tunnels, which is a giveaway sign. Now, if you leave those in the ground, they'll just get worse. So either eat them up quickly or consider digging them to store them. But if I cut that open like that, no sign in there at all, it's fine. Absolutely, perfectly okay. Chard is one of my favourite vegetables, but too few people grow it, which is a real shame because there's an awful lot you can do with it. If you just take one stem like that, you can see that it looks a bit like rhubarb with a long stem. And you can either cook it simply by stripping the leaves off, lovely, glossy, crinkly leaves, and cooking that like spinach. Or you can use the stem. Just take off the end bit there. And that stem, if you cut up and just braise or boil lightly, you can serve it with a light sauce. It's really good with fish and has a very subtle taste and a nice crunchy texture. It's a really good vegetable. Now, peas are definitely coming to the end of their season. And of course, what we love about peas, let's just pick one and show it, are these lovely, tender green peas. There they are. That's the best thing to get now because they will be disappearing. They'll rapidly be going over. Lovely, really good. As I've said many times before, there's nothing that gives me more pleasure than harvesting a vegetable at its very best that I've nurtured from seed to plate. And the vegetable garden here at Berryfields will go on improving. We'll always be finding things to learn, things that never go quite right, even though you think you've mastered them, and experimenting with new varieties and resurrecting some of our old heirloom ones. And also the container garden that we started in the spring of 2005 will certainly continue. That was an experiment to show that even if you had a very small garden, or perhaps just a window box, you could still grow some fresh, delicious vegetables and experience that unique flavour that you just can't seem to be able to buy. And in the future, I want to try some more exotic and rare varieties of vegetables that you can't get hold of, or if you can, cost a fortune. And across the whole of the edible garden at Berryfields to keep expanding and experimenting and, above all, enjoying. Of course, as well as all the hard work that goes into making the gardens, there's a huge amount of work that goes into making the programme each week. And whilst you're used to seeing just myself, or Carol, Joe or Sarah speaking to you, in fact, there are many, many people involved in the production. And every Thursday and Friday, Berryfields is turned into a film set. And a couple of weeks ago, I went the other side of the camera to show you aspects of Gardener's World that you'll never see on a Friday night. Now, I have to be quiet because they're filming Carol in the Alpine Garden. And sound is actually the most destructive thing to filming. It's the one thing that can mess up a take more than anything else. And everybody gets very cross. Where are we at? Hi, Mark.
Hello, Marty.
How you doing? Hi, Mickey. How are you? Turkey.
Okay.
Mark is the director. The director on
Carol,
any shoot
we're
is the
never
boss.
wrong on Gardener's World.
Basically, everybody has to do
Never
what the
wrong on
director
Gardener's
says.
Stand by. Okay, nice shot, Gary. And action.
He's got two cameras going, so that, and he was flicking between the two. So one is taking what we call a wide shot, which is the overview, and one will have been looking at more particular things, either at Carol or at her hands. But he needs more close-ups.
Cut. Lovely. Very good. Bit of VO, please.
You just need to accumulate the shots, layer upon layer upon layer, and then back in the edit, the director can piece them all together. Television is a slow, painstaking business.
Action.
Gardener's World is filmed over 2 days. It involves a team of researchers, cameramen, a sound recordist, a director and a producer. It's a very busy schedule, but nothing's overlooked, including any additional pieces of script that are needed for the final programme.
First, Monty laid a path for the Alpine house, gave the whole area a good digging over and added plenty of grit for good sharp drainage. Then he covered the whole area with gravel over a weed-suppressing membrane.
Morning. This is, you notice you take one cup, you get another. This happens all day long.
It's just tea. Fun. But there's all four of us here today.
Yeah.
Is there? Yeah.
Sarah's turning up nowish.
Yeah.
That's it. Lovely. Here we go. Stand by. We're recording.
Okay, I'll come and just show you where we always have lunch. And when I say always, I do mean always. We've had lunch here in snow, in ice, often in pouring rain. There you are, you see? It's all glamour in television. Now, it may not be very glamorous, but lunch is a very welcome opportunity for everybody to take a break, have a chat, and just rest for a moment or two. But it's quickly over, and then it's back to work for everyone.
And set. Action. And walk out of shot. Lovely. Got that? Oh, see what Mark. Yeah. Good.
You put one of the sections back in the hole that we've used. Okay?
Oh, right.
So we've made, out of one clump of rhubarb, we've made 3. So we've got ourselves 2 new plants. Salami.
Fantastic. Lovely colours as well.
Okay, here we are. What's happening now is that we're coming to the close, and the close is always a set piece. It's choreographed. You can't just have us all speaking over each other or moving across each other's eye line. So what we're going to do for the close, last show of this series, I'm going to bring in a tray of tea, as I always do, looking after this lot, and each of us is going to choose a bit of the garden that either we've enjoyed most this year or we're looking forward to most next year.
Action.
Ready, everyone?
Here we go, tea's up, tea's up. Go on, Joe, grab one. Here we go, tea up. There you go, Joe.
Ah, lovely. Thanks, Monty. Cheers.
That's yours.
Thank you.
And the raspberry one for you.
Thank you very much.
And that's mine. So lots to look forward to this year. And join us again back here at Berryfields for the next series, which will start next March. So until then, bye-bye. You can see that filming is a busy process, quite chaotic at times. And then on the Monday and Tuesday of the following week, that chaos has to be ordered into the programme that you see on a Friday night through the edit. And the final touches of the programme are made on the Thursday before transmission, when we add the weather, which go over the closing credits, and the odd line of voiceover. And then at 8:30 on a Friday night, exactly a week after we finish filming, you see Gardener's World. Now, hopefully it's as perfect as we can make it, and it may look as though we never make mistakes of any kind. Well, the truth is we're human, and sometimes we do. And here are some of those mistakes that were edited out of the original programmes.
I've made this one slightly different. I've given it an angle, and I've also left it slightly. Health and safety, have you got this in a risk assessment?
See, that's quite, for a tulip, that's quite a small bulb. Now, Acuminata has the most wonderful twizzle of flowers, yellow and red. They're like flames licking up. No, sorry about that, my phone went. Hello.
And there you get the vibrancy and brightness of bright green, but the richness of, where's my bloody spade?
This isn't the only kit you can get. There are all sorts of different ones. And this one, for instance, is for shiitake mushrooms, shiitake mushrooms even, but there we go, never mind.
I'm adding a hellebore to the cottage garden, because although they look really good all together in the spring garden, I think you've got to have them in with the other cottage garden plants. And I particularly like these dark colours at this time of year. But
He ain't coming out, is he?
There's one of these that you can buy from the garden centre that's specifically designed for the job.
I know it's hard.
And if you want to plant your own snowdrops.
It's nice and warm.
that wasn't my most dignified moment ever, but at least the water wasn't too cold. However, we did film it in the morning, which meant for the rest of the day I was constantly hiding a very damp bottom from the camera. Now, Berryfields has changed a lot in the 3 years since I first saw it that grey January day. But actually, as a gardener, some of the changes I appreciate most are not the big ones, but the ones that you observe from week to week or even from day to day. However, there are still some really big challenges ahead that I want to do here. There are gardens to make, plants to grow, experiments to be tried. And although the last 3 years have been very rewarding, sometimes a bit tiring, but certainly I'll look back on them with huge pleasure for the rest of my life, it's the next 3 years that are the most exciting.